Hello there, how delightful to have you join us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. We begin with diplomatic relations. Chinese President Xi Jinping says his country will use the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations with Nigeria to promote strategic partnership to new heights. In a letter to the president, Xi Jinping says Nigeria is an important strategic partner of China in Africa, and the China-Nigeria Cooperation has been the pacesetter of China-Africa Cooperation. President Xi appreciates President Buhari for his congratulatory letter on the 72nd anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, which came up October 1. The Chinese leader says he attaches great importance to the development of China-Nigeria relations and gives President Buhari assurance that his country will spare no effort in strengthening existing relations. President MUHAMMADU Buhari has commended the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, for his hard work and commitment in handling state matters which have led to success of the just concluded midterm ministerial performance review retreat. The President's commendation in a letter he personally signed was presented to staff by the SGF at the post-retreat meeting. Mitarek Ben reports.
Sit down, please.
It's the second consecutive year the President Muhammadu Buhari is speaking highly of SGF boss Mustafa over the efficient manner his office coordinated the midterm ministerial performance review retreat and other state matters as the engine room of government.
Conveying to all of you the personal gratitude of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari in a letter to me where he said, and I quote, "The success of the retreat is something to be proud of. You and your team made it happen. Please accept my congratulations." End of quote.
The SGF extends the commendation to all staff of the Cabinet Affairs Office, stressing that the reward for good work is more work.
Going forward, we will consolidate on these achievements. This is also in line with Mr. President's directive at the retreat for this office to immediately begin the process of convening quarterly coordination meetings for each priority area based on the collaborative results framework, identify bottlenecks, and profile immediate solutions.
I want to thank the SGF for providing the leadership.
We are grateful to the President that he has honored us like this by commending us.
The enthused staff of the SGF's office noted that presidential commendation is a morale booster for service delivery. In Abuja, NTA News.
A vital artery of development traversing the Ogoni land, the East-West Road, is to be completed under the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance while granting audience to the leadership of the Ogoni ethnic nationality. He said his administration is also committed to ensuring clemency for convicted Ogoni indigenes following the unfortunate incident of 90s to lay the foundation for genuine reconciliation and national integration. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The delegation of the Ogoni leadership, led by the president of the Supreme Council of Ogoni Traditional Rulers, King Godwin Giniwa, was in the State House to show appreciation for the unprecedented efforts at enhancing the development of the area by the Buhari presidency.
As Ogonis, we believe in the unity of Nigeria, as our survival is best guaranteed in the larger Nigerian nation. We wish to thank Your Excellency immensely for the commencement of work by the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project on the amelioration and remediation of the devastation caused by years of oil spills in our land.
The Ogonis also commended the president for providing the desired political will on the construction of the Bodo-Boni Road, as well as the tremendous progress achieved so far in building, upgrading, and expanding critical national infrastructure projects, especially roads, railways, and power.
This will go into the annals of history as progress achieved even with lean resources. On the resumption of oil exploration activities in our land, we wish to state that we are open to dialogue with the federal government for a mutually beneficial relationship with ultimate consideration for the involvement and participation of Ogoni people, which will guarantee sustainable progress and ultimate delivery benefits to the generality of the Nigerian Federation.
Appreciating the show of support by the Ogonis, President MUHAMMADU BUHARI said the rehabilitation of the Niger Delta will continue to be accorded his administration's top priority as more resources are being committed to tackling existing problems, including the launch of the $1 billion oil cleanup exercise. This is to reverse the terrible damage and restore the ecosystem.
To ensure the stimulation of economic activities in Ogoni land is underpinned by the vast petroleum resources underlying Ogoni land and neighboring communities. NPC is hereby directed to engage all host communities, particularly Ogoni people, to ensure inclusive processes of oil and gas exploration and production is anchored on optimum involvement of host communities. NPDC will lay a broad-based program for the emergence of a new Ogoni land for the benefit of the Ogoni people and Nigeria as a whole.
The federal government, the president also said, is committed to ensuring the closure of all issues surrounding the unfortunate incidents of the 1990s that led to the loss of lives of Ogoni sons, as well as what he called the collateral judicial processes that followed.
Despite the grievous circumstances, the federal government will consider the request for the grant of pardon to finally close the Ogoni saga. We are committed to ensuring clemency and national integration. We will take further steps to ensure faithful and speedy execution of the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project so as to restore the environment and enable farming and fishing activities to resume in the affected areas.
President Buhari, however, urged Ogoni leaders to sensitize their indigents on value of protecting national assets like pipelines and other oil installations, saying willful damages usually create more havoc on their environment and hamper development of the area. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
On the security front, the federal government says it has established links between recent violent attacks in the country and their sponsors, promising that in addition to the ongoing trial of Nnamdi Kanu, various sponsors will also be prosecuted. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami stated this at a special media briefing to intimate Nigerians on the progress in the fight against internal subversive activities. Femi Okewo reports.
After the rearrest of Nnamdi Kanu in June this year, the federal government set up a special presidential ad hoc committee to investigate the rising spate of subversive attacks within the country. The committee, headed by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, had all security agencies in the country as members.
Please be seated.
This media briefing is therefore an outcome of the various findings of the committee, which the minister says has exposed the activities of Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday Adeyemi, and their links with their financiers.
We also established that Kanu is not alone in his subversive activities. He has accomplices in Nigeria and abroad, individual and groups, as well as state and non-state actors who are aiding and facilitating his campaign against the people and state of Nigeria.
On whether the information given by the investigative committee does not preempt the outcome of the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, the Attorney General of the Federation explained the findings.
The Office of the Attorney General has a constitutional responsibility which is guided by the public interest. And I think Nigerians, within the context of the public interest, are entitled to be carried along as far as the information relating to what affects their lives, properties, and peaceful coexistence is concerned.
The federal government called on some countries who have been found to aid the activities of some of the indicted names to desist in the interest of our larger peaceful cohabitation. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
The Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF, is partnering other national security forces in its area of operation to enhance the elimination of remnants of terrorists hibernating in the Lake Chad region. A statement by the Chief of Military Information of the Joint Task Force in Jamena, Chad, Colonel MUHAMMADU, indicates that the force commander, Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim, stated this while on operational visit to the Chadian Chief of Air Staff, Brigadier General Amin Ahmed Idris, at the headquarters, Chadian Air Force, Jamena, Chad. The ongoing tour of strategic military and security formations in the region, Colonel Dole notes, is aimed at exploring support for the MNJTF operations and to stress the need to take advantage of infighting and mass surrender of terrorists in order to eradicate terror activities in the area. Some unknown gunmen Thursday evening attacked the Isialambano police station, Imo State, setting ablaze part of the building. A statement by the police public relations officer, Michael Abatam, indicates that the armed bandits suspected to be members of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, came in about 5 vehicles and 3 motorcycles and threw petrol bombs on the roof of the already damaged building while shooting indiscriminately. The attack, according to the statement, was however repelled by the police operatives attached to the station who engaged them in a gun battle. It states that a police operative who sustained gunshot injury was rushed to a nearby hospital for treatment. The Nigerian Police Force Zone 6 headquarters has nabbed a social media blogger for defaming a leading hospitality facility in Calabar via social media platform TikTok. The Assistant Inspector General, in a statement, the Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 6 headquarters, Usman Gwamna, said that it is in line with commitment to keep the state safe and secure. Achibong Basi reports.
The middle-aged female suspect on the 12th of August 2021 had taken to TikTok to express her displeasure over an incident alleged to have occurred at a hospitality facility without verifying the information. Sadly for this lady, following a credible intelligence, she was picked up by the operatives of the Zonal Intelligence Bureau on the 18th of October 2021 in connection with the video which had gone viral on TikTok and other social media platforms.
On interrogation, she claimed to have been scammed by somebody outside the country, that 2 Canadians robbed of their valuables, their hotel rooms ransacked.
It was something huge I was expecting from him, so I got angry and made that video on the 13th.
The suspect, however, regrets her actions and apologizes to Nigerians for sending out misleading information. In Calabar, Achibo Basi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Police Affairs has promised more legislative support to the Nigeria Police Force with hope that, going forward, all internal security issues will be brought under control. This came up at the committee's oversight to the force headquarters and other related ministries and agencies. Dayo Ogunshola reports.
Arriving into the warm reception of top officers of Nigeria Police and members of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, the mission here is a fact-finding one.
based on the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which empowers the National Assembly to approve expenditure of any kind. So before we do that, we have to make sure that what we provided for in 2021 has been properly utilized.
DIG in charge of Criminal Investigation Department, Joseph Egbunike, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, believes that the ongoing reforms in the force is a product of the support enjoyed from the lawmakers.
For me, it's a golden proof we've succeeded and can owe that to the National Assembly.
Apart from the assessment of police newly acquired operational gadgets, the committee had high-level engagements with Minister of Police Affairs as well as Nigeria Police Trust Fund.
There are various interventions in the passing of relevant bills, stakeholder engagements to ensure harmonious working relationship with the police as well as with other security agencies are very much appreciated.
ETF has recorded over 80% success in the implementation of the 2020 budget. The 2021 budget is on the procurement stage.
The oversight will assist the committee in the 2022 budget scrutiny. In Abuja, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
The National Defense College of Nigeria has scaled up research on insecurity in the country, findings of which are forwarded to relevant authorities for policy direction. The commandant of the institution, Rear Admiral Oladele Daji, said this while hosting the House of Representatives Committee on Defense during an oversight visit. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The National Defense College is the highest military training institution in Nigeria, which trains both senior military and civilian personnel on strategic areas of responsibility. At this engagement with the House Committee on Defense, the lawmakers asked the level of research by participants on the current state of insecurity in some parts of the country and how such knowledge is put to use.
Topics that are given you are strategic topics given from the office of the VP. Youth budge and things like that. We also want to be participants because at the end of the day, the policies and the laws backing such initiatives will be drafted by us. So it's better we work with you from the cradle.
Will not disappoint in the confidence that you repose on us to train strategic leaders, not just for the military, but for other strategic MDAs in line with the mandate of the college.
The institution's yearly financial allocation is an area management wants an improvement on to enable enhanced services, as the institution is involved in strategic trainings with the ECOWAS, AU, and UN towards global peace. The committee proceeded to the Defense Space Administration, where it was informed that the agency aims at bridging the gap in cybersecurity warfare, considering the inadequacies of traditional means of combating security challenges.
We are also carrying out rocketry projects, R&D efforts, and to ensure that our capacity is developed. We have young graduates, young engineers, cyber analysts that are working day in, day out to ensure that the appropriate technology to support the armed forces of Nigeria is provided.
The Defense Space Administration is currently working on developing infrastructure to access satellites for unhindered procurement and analysis of images for prompt response to acts of crime at any location in Nigeria. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still on legislative matters, the conduct of exposure analysis by the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission in the country's health and education sectors remain key to redressing incessant strikes by staff unions. The House Committee on Labour, Employment and Productivity made the observation during its two-day oversight to the Ministry of Labour and its agencies. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Received by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Productivity, the committee resolved to suspend the 2020 and 2021 budget performance review for the ministry. It was same situation at the National Directorate for Employment due to the absence of the minister and the Director General of the agency, as well as non-provision of the necessary documents required for the exercise.
After the honorable members will raise questions and comments, and you respond, then we close the session.
At the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, which manages the personnel cost of the country, the committee described the provision of less than 9 million naira for 2020 and 2021 overheads as inadequate, among other challenges.
It's where you don't have job descriptions and specific targets that you begin to have problems.
We need all details of the savings.
The committee and the Director General, National Productivity Center, Kashim Ako, discussed productivity assessment based on citizen satisfaction and procurement records. Meanwhile, the Chief Registrar of the Industrial Arbitration Panel, Abdulhamid Ali Ibrahim, was asked to provide the expenditure analysis within the years under review for further investigation. In Abuja, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Let's now join Adiola in Lagos for more reports. Over to you, Adiola.
Thank you, Najatu. The federal government is resolute in ensuring the continuous growth of the economy through its numerous sustainable development strategies, as well as improving the lives of its citizenry across the country. In this report, Abolade Salami examines the incentives to make the efforts of government a reality.
Ideology to change the narrative and place Nigeria on the world map of countries with a performing economy and a hub for both foreign and domestic business destination in Africa. The federal government, through various programs and policies aimed at sustainable economic growth, clamored for diversification of the economy through job creation, enhanced agricultural productivity, creation of more revenue sources, and export of domestic products. The proactiveness of the government at operating an all-inclusive economic growth gave rise to the Purchasing Managers Index, inching up 52.3 in September from 52.2 in August, with an increase in the gross domestic products.
Brentwood Institutions IMF World Bank says that an economy the size of Nigeria should be able to borrow up to 50% of its GDP for us to have infrastructure development.
A total of 18 sectors recorded positive growth in the third quarter relative to 13 sectors during the second quarter of 2020, which reflects significant improvement in economic activity.
With a 5% economic growth expansion in the second quarter of 2020, the nation's economy has continued to weather the storm, rising from global crude oil price crash, uncertainty in the foreign exchange markets, and bearish run in the capital markets.
The stimulus plan, the economic sustainability plan, for instance, which impacted quite a number of sectors, had some impact which were positive. It perhaps may not have gone far enough, but those impacts were also a bit positive, which is why we saw the kind of results we saw with respect to the GDP performance.
Meanwhile, in the face of uncertainty in the global economic space, the government has promised to lift over 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, strengthen climate mitigation strategies, secure lives and property, improve infrastructure across the country, and also empower the women. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
A federal high court sitting in Lagos has ordered that 4 men accused of forging the trademark label of J&B Wire and Cable be remanded in Ikoyi Correctional Center. Justice Abimbola Awugboro issued the remand order after the Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) arraigned the 4 men on 10 counts charge.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) alleged that the 4 defendants, Samuel Oji, Patrick Azi, Chijoke Emmanuel Ede, and Izechukwu Victor, in May this year at Alaba International Market, Lagos, knowingly and fraudulently forged the trademark label of J&B Wire and Cable with the intention of deceiving unsuspecting buyers of the product. This act, according to counsel to SON, is an offense contrary to Section 465 of the Criminal Code Act, Cap C-39, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and punishable under Section 467 of the same law. When the 10-count charge was read to the accused, the first, second, third, and fourth defendants pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Prosecution counsel then approached the presiding judge for a date for the commencement of trial.
We are ready to commence to bring our witnesses to court in order to prove the charge before the Honorable Court so that the court will decide one way or the other, and we believe it is a court of justice. Justice will happen at the end of the matter.
The only problem we are looking at is the conference that's coming up within the month, but before then we are going to file an application for a breach of time. The matter is a bailable offense, and we will see what we do within the next few weeks.
Justice Abimbola Awogboro, however, adjourned the case to the 11th and 12th November 2021 for commencement of trial and remanded the 4 accused at the Ikoyi Correctional Center. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Nationwide will continue in Benin with Ogochukwuka Honor after this break. Do stay with us.
Government, through NPHCDA, commenced Phase 2 vaccination of all persons 18 years and above with safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines approved by WHO and certified by NAFDAC. Special arrangement has been made for staff, their dependents and retirees of ministries, departments and agencies of government, private corporate organizations and non-governmental organizations. To benefit from this special arrangement, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng/corporate vaccination/ to obtain, fill and submit the Google form. NPHCDA will contact you within 48 hours. Protect yourself, your family and your workplace against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are free, safe and effective. For further inquiries, call 0700-220-1122 or send a mail to covid19.vaccination@nphcda.gov.ng. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
The Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF, is a key event that provides an unrivaled platform for African buyers and sellers to meet and explore business opportunities from the African continent and beyond. This year, Nigeria will again take part in the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in Durban, South Africa, from the 15th to the 21st of November 2021. This event invites Nigerian businesses to participate and showcase the best of our manufacturing talents, whether in the production of goods, cosmetics, fashion, agriculture, or digital technology. Grab the perfect opportunity to make valuable connections that will take your business to the next level. Register now to participate and showcase the best products Nigeria has to offer. Log on to www.nepc.gov.ng and let's showcase the best of Nigeria at this year's IATF event in Durban, South Africa, from the 15th to 21st November 2021. Africa is talking business. Be part of it.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service, impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multipurpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, mini mart, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710, Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
Two entertaining sides will be looking to get the results when they meet at Ellen Road. Who will come out on top? This Saturday, it's Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA, Silverbird Television and Sporty.com from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu, empowered by Integral.
40 extension officers in Edo State have benefited in the second batch of the training by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture on modern tools and methodology. It is in line with the federal government's deliberate effort to stop the decline in agricultural extension services to boost food production and revitalize the nation's economy. Paul Umukagu has details.
The capacity building is based on technological innovation in post-harvest management. At the end of the training, the ADPs, also called the extension workers, will in turn impact their knowledge on the selected farmers in the respective states, especially rural areas. The farmers, who are majorly women and youths, will be presented with necessary materials at the end of the capacity building. The Executive Director, Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute, INSPRE, Patricia Peso, affirms that the capacity building will expose the farmers to modern ways of storing their crops after harvest to avoid waste.
We have technologies that can be adopted for the reduction of post-harvest losses.
Training manuals were presented to leaders of the states for onward distribution to other ADPs. The trainers and the participants are optimistic of a successful outcome of the program.
I want to tell the federal government, they need spirit people too, that the step they have taken is a very good step.
The empowerment program is expected to accommodate the 6 geopolitical zones of the country in different phases. In Sapele, I am Rosemary Omani, NTA News.
Sincere apologies. That was Rosemary Omani's report on the federal government's advocacy on food security in Nigeria being reinforced through a 5-day training for agricultural development programs from the South-South and South-East zone. The training was at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. All right, we now return to earlier reports where we told you that 40 extension officers in Edo State have benefited in the second batch of the training by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture on modern tools and methodology. It is in line with the federal government's deliberate efforts to stop the decline in agricultural extension services to boost food production and revitalize the nation's economy. Paulo Mukago has that.
Against the backdrop of a drift in the agriculture value chain as a result of growing security concerns and poor farm yields, these participants are being drilled on how to improve on and impact the knowledge acquired on farmers in Edo State. The objective is to ensure rural farmers jettison crude farming techniques and embrace the use of technology as well as modern tools in line with global best practices.
I strongly have that belief that it's going to improve our productive capacity.
At the end, they see the results and they utilize it. They'll be able to carry on, even extend it to their families.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, in a message at the opening, tasked extension officers to take the training seriously as it will enhance service delivery to farmers in terms of production practices and equipment to technical support.
They are to be equipped with what they need to go back to make sure these farmers do the right thing in their farms. At the end of the day, the aim is to lead to increase in food production in our state.
As somebody who guides farmers to adopt improved technology, he should know about those improved technology. That is the essence of this training.
When they are equipped, they are able to deliver.
This second batch of trainees are among 75,000 targeted by the ministry, as government's desire is to ensure the agricultural extension delivery system meets global competitiveness and that the nation has adequate food in season and out of season. In Benin, Paulo Mukago, NTA News.
And that's it from this end. We now return to Abuja for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Guchukuka. The federal government has recommenced its social support of conditional cash transfer to poor and indigent households in Akwa Ibom State. Evelyn Badu Ekpo reports.
Effiong, a petty trader, is one of the numerous beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer
a social support program of the federal government for the poor and vulnerable. While appreciating the federal government for the gesture, she said it has helped improve on her means of livelihood.
I appreciate the federal government for what they have done. Before now, I had it very difficult to feed, but through the federal government cash transfer, they have changed my life.
I collected the money, 30,000 naira today. So I thank everybody that received.
He don't do well. He give me money to go market. I say, may God bless me.
The Conditional Cash Transfer Head Unit, Akwa Ibom State, says about 789.8 million naira is estimated to be disbursed to the 9 benefiting local government areas, ensued for the expansion of the program to cover other local government areas.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. She has really impacted much on the poor and vulnerable in the society, of which Akwa Ibom State is a beneficiary.
The payment resumed at Uran local government area following a backlog of payment for about 6 months. Evelyn Badu Ekpo, NTA News.
The National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism and the National Bureau of Statistics have signed a memorandum of understanding to improve data collection on tourism activities. The MOU was signed by the heads of both agencies in Abuja. Oyinaya Kalu Oka reports.
Within the tourism industry, data collection is one of the most important tools to the development of the sector. Going by available records, data collection in Nigeria in the tourism industry is poor. Either it is not available, scanty, or not updated. With the signing of the MOU between the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism and the National Bureau of Statistics, more relevant statistics that will help fast-track the development of the industry will be achieved.
Statistics are critical to national planning, sound development policies, and informed business decisions. For us at NAHOTO, research is imperative.
MBS promised to build a data bank that will be easily accessible to relevant stakeholders in the tourism sector.
Making accessibility to data much easier, particularly for users of information, so that you don't have to travel from one corner of the country to another before you can have access to tourism data.
To achieve maximum result in data collection in the tourism and hospitality industry, the Director General NAHOTO, Nora Sani Kangiwa, has established a research and development unit to conduct industrial-based research and generate data for the use of the industry. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Our Sokoto studio is next, and Asma'u is our guide.
Thank you, Naja'atu. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol has challenged the National Assembly to re-engage on the issues surrounding the 2010 Electoral Act in the country. Tambol was speaking when he received members of House of Representatives Committee on Judiciary on a courtesy visit at the Government House, Sokoto. Dalhat Abdullahi completes the story.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol stressed the need for the National Assembly to have a second look at the Electoral Act 2010, particularly the cumbersome nature of the direct and indirect party primaries. He said on arriving at that stand, adequacy of INEC manpower and sufficient funding have to be considered with regards to the number of political parties in the country. Tambol emphasized on the conduct of public hearing to ensure active public participation and involvement in decision-making process, while stating that the judicial system in the country is seriously challenged by underfunding. Tambol expressed support for the establishment of an intervention fund for the system to make it more effective.
It is our responsibility, all of us collectively, to support the judiciary for it to continue to remain independent and functional.
Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Judiciary, Akpam Luke Onofiok, said the committee has embarked on oversight tour of the country, making Sokoto its first point of call. The committee is working on how to provide good working conditions for judicial staff to make the judicial services better for all Nigerians.
And so we want to make an appeal, and through the National Economic Council, through the Governors Forum, to try to see how the federal government or National Economic Council could give an intervention fund that will assist the judiciary to meet its obligation.
The committee had paid oversight visits to federal high courts and the federal judges' residences in Sokoto. In Sokoto, Dalata Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Co. Sokoto Command has advised drivers to always abide by traffic rules and regulations so as to reduce the rate of road crashes on the highways. This came to the fore during the Ember Months campaign flagged off in Sokoto. Sheikh MUHAMMADU reports.
Ember months constitute the last 4 months of the year, beginning from September to December. Within the period, individuals, communities, and people stage celebrations, meetings, occasions, and many other important activities, which translate into movement of people, goods, and services.
The passengers are expected to be aware of traffic rules and regulations, and caution drivers to obey them.
We shall therefore continue to support such laudable initiatives of the Corps as the Ember Month campaign, which is aimed at sensitizing the general public on the right of life on our highways.
As such, drivers must ensure their vehicles' maximum safety and obey rules and regulations. Federal Road Safety Co., as a lead agency in traffic management in Nigeria, has designed safety regulatory laws and devices and enforces such rules and regulations to ensure safety of lives of road users. Some of the major causes of road traffic crashes in Nigeria include night journey, especially with the current security situation in the country, poor visibility, bad road network, lack of sleep among drivers, improper vehicles checkup, among others. Speakers express readiness to support efforts towards curtailing the scourge and call on road users and relevant stakeholders to comply with the rules and regulations. High points of the event was paper presentation by Dr. Muhammad Alhaji Indakosu on dangers of overspeeding and night journey. The theme of this year's campaign is maintain safe speed, avoid night travels, and enjoy quality road experience. In Sokoto, Sheikh MUHAMMADU, NTA News.
And that's it from here. We'll take a short break, and when we return, Nationwide continues with Jenny in Port Harcourt. Please stay with us.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President MUHAMMADU Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College Jos invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs. Transmitter operation and maintenance. Date 1st November to 5th November 2021. 1 week. Photojournalism and photography. Date 8th November to 26th November 2021. 3 weeks. Advanced broadcast accounting and auditing. Date 22nd November to 3rd December 2021. 2 weeks. The course fee for the 3-week course is 130,000 naira per participant, while the fee for the 2-week course and 1-week engineering course is 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Two entertaining sides will be looking to get the results when they meet at Ellen Road. Who will come out on top? This Saturday, it's Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA, Silverbird Television and Sporty.com from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. The damaging effect of fossil fuel exploration on the environment and human health is increasingly necessitating the call by environmental activists to substitute fossil fuel with renewable energy. The advocacy was emphasized at the Oil Watch Global Gathering on Climate Change in Port Harcourt, and Robinson Darataide was there.
The death of aquatic lives, the disappearance of mangroves, and the pollution of the environment are traceable to fossil fuel explorations in the Niger Delta region that began 3 decades ago. Fossil fuel impact on climate change and life expectancy in Nigeria has become a concern to environmentalists not only in Nigeria but in Togo and other African countries which started exploration in recent times.
Because we believe that the negative impacts of extractive in general, but especially of exploitations of oil and gas in African communities will be just as horrible as what we have witnessed sometimes in the Niger Delta.
Fish activities has been reduced because of restriction areas, and women are suffering because they no longer process fish.
With the team demanding real zero, not net zero, environmental conscious individuals renew call for investment in renewable energy to end fossil fuel globally.
Nobody, no country, no company should go on exploring, looking for new oil, gas or coal reserves. Scientists have told us that we can't afford to burn all the known reserves of fossil fuel right now if the world is going to have a temperature that human beings can survive on.
They urge global authorities to compensate communities preserving their oil, like Ogoni in River State, Nigeria, even as the need to remediate the Niger Delta environment becomes imperative. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Darataide, NTA News.
Stakeholders from oil-producing communities in Akwa Ibom State converged in Uyo, the state capital, to discuss and debate on the provisions of the new Petroleum Industry Act 2021, recently assented to by President MUHAMMADU BUHARI. The former IHOJ reports that this is the instance of the National Orientation Agency in collaboration with the Civil Society and Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC.
The Petroleum Industry Act 2021, which was signed into law by President MUHAMMADU BUHARI, is to provide a framework for regulation, business and corporate responsibility of Nigeria's oil and gas industry in line with emerging international and local dynamics. For better understanding of this law and knowledgeable participation in the implementation, the National Orientation Agency NOA, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center CISLAC, and other NGOs organized a sensitization program which allowed stakeholders the platform to vent their perception about the new law.
The IOC should stand tall and be faithful to the act by ensuring that enough money that we are talking about is brought on the table on time.
It's also very apt for us to work with the communities concerned to see how we can bring up the dividends in that small manner.
The Director General of NOA and Executive Director of CISLAC believe that the law, when duly implemented, will provide a framework for accelerated development of the Niger Delta region.
It should be inclusive from the point of implementation, from the earliest point of implementation. There are certain provisions that are contained in the law with only community insistence, monitoring, and ensuring that there is accountability in the utilization of these funds and the opportunity within the Act.
The interactive session featured presentations on the benefits of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 to the host community and the economy, as well as the role of citizens in enhancing the smooth implementation of this law. In Uyo, Ifoma Ihuji, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues with Najatu in Abuja.
Assuming that the issue of third term continued, who told you there will not be fourth and fifth and sixth terms?
Standing strong. Issues of the Fifth Senate with Senator Ken Nnamani.
It is a misnomer, and as a matter of fact, to say that the president is the leader of the party. The president is the leader of the country.
One-on-one, Friday at 10:30 p.m. on NTA.
Thanks for staying tuned to Nationwide. The All Progressives Congress has inaugurated State Congress Appeal Committees, which the National Secretary of the Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, John James Akpan-Udo-Edehe, says will ensure that channels of communication are kept open in order to sustain internal party cohesion. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The Governor Malabuni-led Caretaker Committee of APC said with the successful conduct of the world's local government and state congresses, the party is moving towards the last and critical stage of conducting a national convention with sure steps. Results from the activities of the committee, which include membership revalidation exercise, amendment of the party's constitution, the Caretaker Committee agreed is boosting the APC's chances of more election victories.
With the huge membership strength we have recorded during the last registration and revalidation exercise, there is no doubt that Nigerians will trust us and that we will win all the upcoming elections convincingly. Nigerians by now have realized that the APC-led administration of President MUHAMMADU BUHARI means well for Nigerians and is doing everything possible to deliver infrastructure to Nigerians amidst difficult economic times.
This appeals committee is part of the party's internal mechanism and an avenue for those who feel dissatisfied with the state congresses to seek redress or better clarifications on the party's stance. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Similarly, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party 2021 National Convention Organizing Committee and governor of Adamawa State, Ahmed Fintiri, says 31 aspirants appeared before the convention screening committee and 27 were cleared to contest all elective positions in the October 30 National Elective Convention of the party. This was made known during the media unveiling of the convention logo and promotional materials in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Chairman of the PDP 2021 National Convention Organizing Committee and Governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintiri, disclosed that ahead of the National Convention, the screening committee, chaired by former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Mohammed Bello Adoke, disqualified 3 aspirants from vying for positions in the National Working Committee. Those disqualified were Professor Wale Oladipo from Osun State, who expressed interest in the position of Deputy National Chairman South, Okemo Aru from Anambra, who expressed interest in the position of National Secretary, and Dr. Edi Olafeso from Ondo State, who expressed interest in the position of National Publicity Secretary.
All these have been disqualified for reason that they took the party to court, and their intention also in the court was to stop the National Convention. So if you have taken the party to court without exhausting the internal mechanism of settling whatever grievances you have, the committee felt you cannot also enjoy from the convention.
With delegates list still being compiled, not less than 4,000 delegates are expected to participate in the elective convention.
We have to rewrite all the mistakes that we have committed in the past. Our leaders have agreed that we have made a mistake and they have apologized to Nigerians.
The National Convention Organizing Committee Chairman, Governor Fintiri, enjoined the Publicity Subcommittee, chaired by the Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, that the time to come together is now, especially with the convention expected to chart a way forward for the PDP. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the people of Darazo in Bauchi State will soon have the luxury of watching what happens around the country without the discomfort of getting it elsewhere. This is because the management of NTA and members of the community are set to revive the NTA community station in the local government. Abdulmalik Hassan reports.
The discussions lasted for less than an hour, and the outcome seems to be promising. It is a deliberation that centered on the revival of NTA community station in Darazo, Bauchi State, which has been out of service for about 2 decades, and Abasama Green Foundation, as members of the community, are here to solicit the support of the NTA management to get the station up and running.
With support of NTA Bauchi, we have been able to identify a mast that is currently not in use, that we wish to request that we dismantle the masts and transport it to Darazo NTA station in order to erect it and contribute to the restoration of services at NTA Darazo.
I'd like to assure you that, I think between you, your team, and I don't know who is more anxious, to see NTA Darazo. Honestly, I'll be extremely glad if during my tenure, what I started, is finally consummated, and we'll be quite willing to do everything we can, to make sure that this idea comes to fruition.
There is high optimism here that the discussions will yield to positive results, and members of Darazo community will soon have exciting moments through the services of the NTA. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
On that wonderful note, we conclude the news on Nationwide. Thanks for watching. Please remember to continue supporting NTA in its fight against rape and rapists. I'm Naja Atutijani.